Hey guys, it's SimReaper and welcome to my first speed build on my new channel. I'm very excited and very nervous at the same time to be putting this video out there for the whole world to see, but I hope that you guys like it. I decided for my first speed build to do a tiny home. So the bottom floor is 6 by 6 tiles and the top floor is 5 by 6 tiles, just so I could add some decorative pizzazz there. I will come out and say I am not a good builder. I want to be a good builder. I'm trying to be a good builder, which I'm hoping that by building a bunch of houses and making build with me's out of those houses that I will eventually become a connoisseur, or I don't even know if that's how you say it, of building, much like, the Sims Supply, Lil Simsy, just everyone on YouTube who knows how to build Sims houses, unlike me. So I figured I would tell you guys a little bit about myself, just to introduce myself to the world of YouTube. My name is Lauren Sueki. I am married and living in Japan, which is an interesting point because I actually am also going to be making videos on a different channel where I teach Japanese, in conjunction with my website teachmejapanese.net. So that's really exciting. I mean, for people that are into Japan and Japanese culture and language, you can go check that out. The channel is also called Teach Me Japanese, but I only have one video on there right now, and it's really awkward because it's my first YouTube video ever, and I decided to use my webcam for some reason, even though it wasn't even needed for that video, and I was just a nervous wreck, and you could tell just how awkward it is when you watch it. So I mean, I will try to put out better content than that. So, but if you do want to, if you are interested in learning Japanese, I recommend checking out my channel and my website, again, teachmejapanese.net. I am a lot better at writing. Eventually, I'll be good at videos too. I think it's just one of those things that takes practice and time and making a bunch of really bad videos. So, yeah. Some more about me. Like I said, my name is Lauren Sueki, so my husband is actually Japanese. We met on a language exchange application called Hello Talk, and I actually came to Japan to study abroad, and then long story short, flunked out of university. But we ended up getting engaged, and then we went home together to meet my parents and got my dad's permission, and then got married. And so now I am living here on a spouse visa with my wonderful husband. His first name is Hirotaka. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Japan is just one of those really cool places that everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of my friends have always said oh, I want to live in Japan. But one really bad thing about Japan is the cost of living is quite high, at least in my opinion, because I am from America originally. I am an American citizen, and everything is just so much more expensive than it is in America. So that's something that's been really hard to adjust to. I've lived here for, I want to say, hold on, let me try and do some math real quick. I think it's about a year and a half that I've lived here in Japan. And I've only been home once, which I miss my family in America a lot. But things, obviously, like with the cost of living, financially, it's hard for me to be able to go home. And I am not currently working because every time I try to apply somewhere, like I'll get like an interview, but I guess like my business Japanese isn't up to par. So I get like rejected. I don't know, or maybe they just don't like foreigners. I mean, I'm sure everyone's heard like little stories about Japan being xenophobic, which I wouldn't say Japan as a whole is xenophobic. Like I've only really had one experience that was like blatantly like kind of discriminatory, and that was when me and my husband were looking for an apartment. We actually were told that one of the apartments we wanted to look at, we couldn't because I was a foreigner. So that was like a little bit shocking, you know, because I'm like, you know, just like this white American girl, you know, like I've never had to deal with any discrimination before. And just like all of a sudden, like, oh no, you can't look at this because, you know, you're not Japanese. And like that was quite a shock. And speaking of shock, so a lot of people say like when you go to a new country, especially like to live, that you'll experience cultural shock. I don't think I ever really did. I'm not sure what cultural shock entails, but like, I don't know, it was a pretty seamless transition for me. Maybe I'm just like really adaptable, but I mean, if you guys have any like cultural shock stories, especially like about Japan, I would love to hear them, so you can comment about them below. More about me. I am 23 years old, so I'm quite a dinosaur in terms of Sims YouTubers. Like a lot of the YouTubers I watch are like 18, 19, 20, like in that range. So I feel like an old lady, especially like just getting started with YouTube. But I hope that, you know, you guys like my content, and I hope I get better at building and you guys like some of my builds. Yeah, I kind of liked how this one turned out. It's in Windenburg, so you know, I went with the whole like white and black, like old-timey kind of feel Windenburg theme. I personally usually prefer more modern houses, but you know, I thought, you know, for my first YouTube video, since doing YouTube as a whole is like taking me out of my comfort zone, I thought I would build something that also takes me out of my comfort zone. And I do kind of like how it turned out. I think it's like really cool for like a female single sim who's like just getting started at life. Even though this house is kind of expensive, I think it's like $70,000, but I think it's really cool, you know, for that kind of sim who likes gardening, or like, you know, because there's a nice garden attached to the house, and it's in like a quaint, well, it's on the island in Windenburg, you know, like that little small lot. So it's kind of like secluded from other sims. So I don't know, I like to picture the kind of sims that would live in the houses that I build when I build them. So you might not care about all that, but yeah, so that's the kind of sim that I pictured to be living in this house. Yeah, I had actually furnished the whole thing twice. So like the first time I furnished it, I kind of like went back to like my modern bias, and I like made a lot of modern furnishings inside the house, and then I felt like that didn't really make any sense because the outside isn't very modern like at all. Save for, I guess that patio furniture looks a little bit modern, but There is no like washer and dryer inside the house like a modern house would. So you see you have that little outside laundry area with the washing bucket and the what do you call those where you hang up your clothes to dry? Oh yeah, so I was looking for a tree, and I always use this tree in my builds. I just love the lanterns, and I love how it makes the house look at night. I just really love like houses that light up at night and just like look warm and inviting, whether it be modern or old school. So yeah, that's just the tree that I went with. I did put like lots of different little lights outside of the house. I was gonna put that row of bushes there, but then I thought it didn't look very good, so I just put like a random one. And then, yeah, this is where I go in and change all those modern furnishings I was talking about. And I changed like the wallpaper and the flooring too, because it was not anything that I wanted it to be. Let's see. Maybe I can tell you more about myself. Let's see what is interesting about me. Not a lot. I went to college for, I want to say 4 or 5 years. I started out in North Carolina, which is my home state. Military brat. And then I transferred to a school in Michigan because my parents were also going to be moving to Michigan because that's where my parents are from, and I had a lot of family up there, and I was just kind of tired of my school in North Carolina, so I just decided to transfer, like out of the blue, like new state, new town, new life. I love doing that. I don't know why. I just love completely starting over in a whole new place, hence Japan. But, I was there for, let's say, 2 years. Yeah, I lived in Michigan for 2 years and went to school there for 2 years. When I was in North Carolina, I actually was going to school for nursing. But when I moved to Michigan, I had this whole plan, like, I'm going to finish the nursing program while also doing pre-med. And then after I get my BSN, I'm going to go to medical school. Like, that was my whole plan. But, like, the first semester that I transferred to Michigan, I took a Japanese class because it was required for me to have a language, like, elective or whatever you want to call it. And Japanese was one of the options, and being the nerdy girl that I am, I was like, oh heck yeah, I want to learn Japanese, like who wouldn't? So I took the introduction Japanese class, and it was so much fun. I made like one of the best friends that I've ever had. Like, she's still in my life. I still love her very much. Yeah, and like, that class opened up my entire life, basically. Like, I wouldn't be where I am right now or doing the things that I'm doing if it wasn't for taking that Japanese class. It was so much fun, in fact, that I ended up switching my major, even though I was like so close to entering the nursing program. I switched my major to Japanese, which in hindsight, Japanese is a pretty useless major. I mean, I never even got my degree, but like, even if I had, there's not really much I could have done with it, besides translating. But I mean, we all know that Google's like taking over that field of work. So, I mean, I'm glad that I changed my major because, I mean, if I hadn't, I wouldn't be in Japan right now. I never would have met my husband. I wouldn't have realized, my dreams of, starting my own business and all of that fun stuff. So, but I think the smart decision, the more stable decision would have been to stay with pre-med. So like right now I would be in medical school, and maybe like, that's like a stable future. Like you have, you're gonna make a steady, good income as a doctor. But I think I need to have a mix of stability and instability in my life in order for me to be happy. Like, even if, let's say I can't pay my bills on time all the time, like even if I'm like struggling financially like that, as long as I'm doing something that I like and I'm with someone that I love, I think, I can be happy. I honestly didn't want to. I feel like that's the reason why I quit pre-med, because I was only doing it because I didn't have any vision for, my future, like what I wanted to do. So I was like, well, I might as well, have stability and make money, since I don't know what I want to do otherwise. But then it's like I found it when I transferred schools. And then I did one semester in Japan when I, transferred here. And like, this is an excuse, but, excuse me, I have chronic depression. I've had depression since I was about 14 years old. And like, I don't know, there was just something about that semester. I couldn't leave my dorm room. I like missed a bunch of classes, didn't hang out with anybody or make any friends. Like, when you study abroad, it's supposed to be like the best experience of your life, but it was honestly the worst. Maybe that was my culture shock, and I'm like just now realizing that, like, maybe like being in a new country like shocked me so much that it like awakened? Hold on. I don't even know the word for it, but like my depression just like went into crazy overdrive basically. And yeah, so that's probably what happened now that I think about it. That was my culture shock. But yeah, I ended up failing the semester, which meant that I couldn't stay for the next semester, which I had planned on staying there for a year, which, to be honest, I wasn't really upset about. I was kind of happy because I knew in my heart, I think at that time, that I wanted to quit school anyways, because I had come to realize that a Japanese major wasn't going to do me very good anyways. Like for what I wanted to do, and I had done like a bunch of brainstorming like while I was in my dorm room, like, well, I love the Japanese language, but how do I make a career out of it? And then I brainstormed, starting my own business, revolving around teaching Japanese. And that's still a work in progress. I have my website at least. I do eventually plan on writing my own Japanese textbooks and like selling my own like products like flashcards and stuff like that on my website. But for now it's just like an affiliate website, so I only make money through ads and through links, where people will like buy stuff on a different website with no added cost, and then I get a commission from that. So I'm really happy that I was able to find something I want to do. Like, I love writing my posts for Japanese, and I actually really love The Sims. So I'm glad that I can, explore that avenue too with any free time that I have. I've loved The Sims ever since I was like 7 years old, when I was on my parents' computer playing The Sims 1, which, now that I think about it, like was kind of not a very good thing for my parents to let their 7-year-old daughter play. But yeah, that's coming to the end of the video. I really hope you guys like this build. It's on the gallery. My name on the gallery is SimReaperYT. So if you look up my SimReaperYT, you can download this lot. I really hope you guys like it. But yeah, I'm gonna leave you off here. Have a great day, everyone. Sorry for that awkward outro. Bye.